Hi, welcome back to my kitchen. Tonight I'm going to be making a baked salmon dinner with a honey garlic lime sauce, coconut rice, and steamed green beans with almonds and garlic. So we're going to get started with it. It's simple, straightforward, but it is a family favorite in our house. So let's get to it. So first things first, I'm going to prep my pan for my salmon. I take a sheet pan right here. I have the oven preheated to 350 degrees, and I have my salmon out. So I like to line my pans with foil when I'm cooking fish or meat because it just saves up on cleanup at the end of the day. So less to scrub. You know, you still have to wash the pan, but this is a little bit of an easier way to go about it. Okay, so I've got my pan lined. And now I'm going to drizzle with just a touch of olive oil. You'll see this olive oil can a lot, okay? I'm going to just use one hand here so I don't forget the other. I'm gonna just get it spread out over here. I have some Norwegian salmon, which I picked up at the store. After lining the salmon in foil, I coated it with some olive oil, and I'm gonna just season that with a little bit of salt and pepper and a little more olive oil. So I have the salmon on the pan. I took a little more olive oil, put it on top, just rubbing my hand over the salmon to get it all nice. It's just a nice little coat of olive oil. And now I'm going to season with salt and pepper and sprinkle a little lemon juice on top. Now this dish, again, as I mentioned, is a staple in my house. I've been making this for years. It's one of these quick dinners that I put together, but it's gained a lot of traction. In fact, my sons, Alex and Brandon, over the years, when I ask them what they want for their birthday, I always make a birthday dinner, their birthday dessert. This dish is one that we've made many times for family birthday dinners, but it's also a dish that I make a lot during the year. When I go down the shore with my family, I go with my extended family, my sister and her kids. We get a beach house together down the Jersey Shore, and this is one of the meals that we put on the list to make down at the beach. Everyone loves it, and I guess it's just because all the flavors go so well together, and it's simple. So hopefully that you'll get a chance to try it as well. Okay, now I'm just going to take some lemon, and I'm going to just squeeze it over the top of my salmon, okay? And you know, I took this out a few minutes ago, probably 10 minutes ago or so. It's usually good to get your proteins out a little bit so that they don't come from super cold to warm. It just helps with keeping consistency with the cooking time. I'm going to set this aside for 1 moment. Now that's going to take about 20 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees. So once again, what I'm doing is just getting everything prepped so that it all comes together very quickly. So now I'm going to work on the rice right over here. So this is one of my go-to rice recipes that I love. It just is delicious. It imparts a lot of flavor. It goes with a lot of things, and it's very simple to make. So I like to use a long grain rice, basmati, something like that. So what I do is I have a measuring cup here, and I'm going to do 2 cups of dried rice. Now, for every cup of dried rice will yield 2 cups of cooked rice. So figuring 4 cups of rice is about right. There are 3 of us to feed, so this is about right there, okay? Now, I'm gonna take that, put this aside. Now for the liquid part. So with this type of rice, there's a formula here as well. So for every cup of dry rice, you put 1 3/4 cup of, almost 2 times, but not quite, 1 3/4 cup of liquid. So this is coconut milk. I always have coconut milk in my pantry, so I always make sure I have it. So I'll always buy another can the next time I go so that I don't never run out. So I usually have a few cans in there, so I always have it in a pinch. Same with something like capers and things like that, because they just are great for these extra ingredients that are going to enhance a dish and make it a little different, but very simple. So here we have the coconut milk. It goes right in here. And then I'm going to run over and fill this can with water, because that's another 1 3/4 cups of liquid, because we have 2 cups of rice in there. So that means we need 3.5 cups of liquid. All right, so pour that in. So that's the simple proportions for this rice dish. And anytime I make rice, I always have that proportion. Okay, now I take some salt, again with my hand, right there. And I take a little pat of either butter or olive oil. I prefer butter for this, and just put it right in there. This is so simple. And then we're going to put the stove on. So the trick here is, I'm going to start out with the lid off, and I'm going to put this on high and let it come to a rolling boil. And as soon as it boils, I lower it to a low medium heat. Now everyone, again, if you have a gas stove, you'll have to look at like the lower side. If you're thinking, if it's electric, I go at 2.5, 2.6 out of 10, and then I cover the lid. I set the timer for 15 minutes and I leave it alone, don't touch it, and until the timer beeps. Since I have the rice ready to go, and this is going to take about 15-20 minutes because you have to let it boil and then heat, and then the salmon is going to take about 20 minutes. I'm going to now get everything in at the same time. I try to like to time my cooking, as I mentioned, as best as I can. So I have this on high here, and I'm putting this in the oven. Now, I'm not going to set the timer for this because I have an idea, and because I'm going to be setting the timer for this and it's around the same time, I can check it when the rice is done. So I'm letting this get to a rolling boil before we dial back the heat and put the lid on. Okay, so now the water is the coconut milk and water is boiling here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this temperature to a low medium. Again, if it's electric, I always did 2.6 to be exact. I put the lid on, and I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes, and I just let it be, and it goes. As soon as the timer goes off, I pull this off to the back of the stove and just leave it there unopened until I'm ready for dinner. Okay, and then I'm going to check on the salmon at that point. Now I'm going to just show you what I did with the green beans. So I washed off the green beans and then put it in this covered microwave cooker, and I filled up this cooker until halfway through. So you see the water is halfway to the top, and I put this lid on. I will tell you, and so again, you could steam it in a pot. When my kids were little, my older son was born. I was a stay-at-home mom for 8 years, and when I was home, I decided that I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. As I said, I am just an entrepreneur by nature, I guess, and I decided to do some side work as a Pampered Chef kitchen consultant. If you don't know what that is, I used to do home cooking shows and sell kitchenware, and I did that on the side in the evenings, when I was home with my kids. And this is one of the Pampered Chef products, that the covered microwave cooker that I have had for, I guess it's now 30 years, and it's still going strong. I mean, it's amazing. These are fantastic tools. A lot of my kitchen stuff is Pampered Chef, I gotta say, a little plug for them. So I use this. This does a really nice job cooking vegetables. So I'm gonna put this in the microwave, and I'm gonna steam this. Okay, so I had my green beans in an automatic fresh vegetable setting. I'm gonna test them out here. Now, I want to just do them a little bit more. They seem a little too firm for me, but not too much longer. What's going to happen is I put this back in the microwave. It's going to only cook it for another minute or two, and I think that will be just right. So I'm going to just do that, 2 minutes. Now I'm going to prep. I need garlic for 2 different reasons. First off, I'm going to need garlic for my honey lime garlic sauce, but for the green beans, I want to chop 2 garlic cloves, because after the green beans are done, I'm going to toss them. And I'm going to show you why I like to use this microwave cooker for this particular green bean dish, because it makes it keeps it all in one place. It's easy, but you'll see when it makes it easier to infuse the flavors of the garlic and the olive oil in the pot. Okay, so I'm going to just give this a chop. And remember, as I told you, it's important for you to just have your knuckles be the guide, so that especially with small things like this, you don't want to have an accident and then cut a finger. So you can just kind of keep your knuckles as a guide, and you won't be able, it'll prevent you from hurting yourself. So again, this is going to be a rough chop for this part. I'm going to actually put the other garlic through a garlic press for the sauce that I'm making, but for this is perfect. Okay, doesn't have to be perfectly chopped, but this is pretty much where we're at with that. I also have 2 limes right here, and I have some fresh parsley. So this is going to be the basis for our sauce right here. Again, if you need to use dry parsley, and there are times when I do, when I don't have fresh parsley in the house, that is perfectly fine to do, because it's not going to make or break the meal. If you have fresh, it's always nice to use, but it's not a deal breaker here. And again, this is one of those staple dinners that you can do as the last meal. Things don't have to take endless amounts of time. It could be a quick meal in a half hour to an hour, and you can have a nice dinner for the family ready to go, or just for yourself. The green beans are done. I said put them in another couple minutes. So what I'm going to first do quickly is, you see this particular microwave cooker has the holes on the top for the colander, so you do not have to pour it into a separate colander. Again, it saves time and it saves dirtying another dish. So I'm emptying the water out. Now, this is the trick here. So I have my garlic cut up, and as I mentioned, I got this all prepped. I'm going to put my garlic in here. I'm also going to add raw almonds, so either blanched slivered almonds, or these sliced almonds right here. They work beautifully. I'm going to sprinkle them all over. There we go. And then I'm going to take a little olive oil. Now I'm going to use extra virgin olive oil for this, because as I mentioned, after you're cooking, I use regular olive oil for the normal cooking, and then I'll take extra virgin when something to finish off a dish. Got my salt, and I have some pepper, my black pepper right here. And now what I'm going to do is, because there's that lid, is I'm going to take the lid, snap it back on, and shake it in here. Now, if you don't have this type of container, you can take it from a pot, but I'd put it in something covered and put it in a bowl, mix it up, and cover it with foil or a lid, because what this is going to do is now it's going to sit, and it's all going to infuse together, and it kind of just blends all the flavors. It's absolutely delicious. Okay, so the green beans are done. The rice it's saying 4 minutes left, which means that the salmon is going to be pretty close to done, if not just a few more minutes after that, and it's okay if the rice sits. So again, this is a nice quick meal. Now for the sauce that's going to go on the salmon, we're going to take some olive oil. Oh, again, I'm going to use, actually, back to the regular olive oil here. Okay, little olive oil. I'm going to take a little butter right here. I have some parsley. I have some lime juice, fresh lime, right here. This is such a yummy dish. And with the coconut rice, if you think about it, the coconut and the lime, it has that tropical feel, but all this works together. I see the honey is a little solidified, but do you know that honey is the only food that never goes bad? I haven't had this that long. But the properties sometimes, no matter what, it's good for you. It's fine. It's a pretty cool thing. So All right, I'm going to take the garlic and my garlic press right here, and I'm going to just, I want this to be a little bit finer than the chop I did with my knife. So just take a couple of cloves of garlic and put that in here. Salt, pepper, and honey, and we are going to be good to go. Again, the rice is almost done. The salmon will be done soon, and this is all taking no time. And the effort is going to be worth it. Okay. Here's the honey. It's working its way down. And I'm just putting some honey in here, this pot. Season it with salt and pepper, and we can get it on the stove. This doesn't take long at all. This is just a few minutes. That's why I'm doing this now, towards the end. You could do it ahead and let it just sit on the stove warm. And this honey here is being a little bit difficult. Okay, so that is a sign that the rice is done. So I'm going to pull this off the stove, shut it off, shut the timer, and we're good to go with the rice. I'm going to let it sit there. Okay, so in this pan I have the honey, olive oil, garlic. I got to do a little salt and pepper. Salt, pepper, lime juice. I think I mentioned the butter. Okay, so that's all you need. And the fresh parsley. Okay, and again, if you don't have fresh parsley, dried parsley is going to work just fine here. Now I'm going to put this on the stove at a low temperature, low to medium, and let this just blend flavors, get together a little bit, and we will be ready to go. So let me just get this on the medium low. Okay, now I'm going to check the salmon. Okay, the salmon is, oh, it's done. Oh, delish. Okay. Once again, it's nice crispy here on the edges, but it's still got a nice give in the middle a little bit. So it's about a medium. Now I take some lemon juice and I just squeeze it right away with lemon juice right there. Okay, the salmon's out of the oven. I squeezed a little lemon juice on it. Here's the sauce here. It's nice and had got a little frothy, and it was in a little bit. It was simmering, so it's ready to go right here. So we're ready to plate up. So here we have our full dinner ready to go. So we have our salmon, we have our lemon garlic honey sauce right here. Here's our coconut rice. And we have our green beans with almonds and garlic, olive oil, salt, and pepper. Look at that. Oh, it's so good. Okay, I'm going to plate this up and we're going to have Phil give it a taste. I'm going to plate this up for you. So this is a perfect example of a dinner or food that can taste absolutely delicious, made from simple ingredients, and be easy to make. Good doesn't always mean complicated. Simple, to me, is always best. Listen, I like to get into a complicated meal as someone who likes to cook, but for the everyday during the week, I want it to be simple, easy, and delicious, and just let the ingredients speak for themselves. So here we have, I'm going to first start with the coconut rice. I'm going to take a little bit here. And again, the coconut milk just is going to really, it just gives it a little bit of body. Now again, I make rice many different ways, but this is one that to me complements so many things. Okay, so I got my rice down here. I'm going to take my salmon. I'm going to take a piece here, getting Phil's dish ready. There you go. Get some green beans right here. The crunch of the almonds, the almonds go great with green beans. Green beans almondian, I guess that's a dish, pretty classic French dish right here. Look at that. Healthy, simple, but delicious. And then I have my sauce here, and I'm going to drizzle all over. And again, because the parsley, I even put it over the rice. I highly recommend over the rice. This sauce makes it. And I think that's why everyone in the family loves this dish. Okay, we're gonna go have a taste. Time for the taste test.
We've definitely had this before, and it is one of my favorite.
It is.
The salmon is so moist. What I have on my plate here?
The sauce.
With the butter sauce on top?
Yeah, the lime, garlic, honey.
Oh my God, it's great. And this piece here is for the camera. I'll eat double that when I'm off the camera, believe me. The salmon, look how moist that is. With the coconut rice, I never had the coconut rice until we met. It's fantastic. String beans with the almonds. And everything is so moist. I don't want to talk, I just want to eat, but it's good.